So thank you so much to the Mayor, Gualtieri and Dr. Lucarelli for this hospitality in this amazing world that is really Roma Captum Mundi. And as Anna Maria mentioned, labor participation and economic justice are intrinsically linked to women's well-being and thus to a more equitable global development. Beyond the short term, we look at the population aging in Italy as in Japan, but not only there, and also to the slowdown in productivity growth, the new technologies such as artificial intelligence, which present policymakers with significant challenges. And although policy responses need to be tailored to the circumstances of individual countries, there is a common need to invest in digital infrastructure and workforce skills, as was already mentioned, to preserve the role of the G7 as a growth engine for the world economy. In our journey towards defining this communiqué and to define a strategy appropriate to these challenges, we ask ourselves how we can promote investment to better support women and girls and reduce gender gaps towards gender equality, unleash the potential of the G7 global in partnership with the rest of the world, combat climate change and other areas where global challenges are so acute. So women are the first to be impacted, and how can the G7 act and make a difference for women, for all of us? There are many positive examples of collaboration between the G7 countries and the low-income countries on the issue of gender fragility and discrimination. Today, a very big event with all African countries will take place in Farnesina. So it's not coincidence that the recent significant events held also in New York during CSW 68 at the United Nations focus on the issue of financial empowerment and allowed me to observe different leadership styles and reflect on financial inclusion as a crucial aspect of virtuous leadership in certain countries. But on one hand, we have more inclusive countries that actually created spaces for all individuals that are welcomed. They cultivated a culture of belonging where everyone felt seen, valued, empowered, and directly impacting their well-being and health. In contrast, we have other countries already mentioned by Leila Golfo, like Iran, Afghanistan, that continue to deny fundamental rights to women, from access to education to employment, denying any hope of financial and social inclusion. So a commitment to inclusivity is morally right and essential to build a safe space within organizations and communities, promoting resilience, sustainability, and economic development for all. Too often, politicians fail to ask what women need to build their economic power, and what are their financial ambitions, and what stands in the way of realizing their dreams of full participation and citizenship. So if countries close the financial gender gap and invest in targeted women policies, we can expand women economic opportunities, increase their economic power, and consequently economic growth. With our statement, we propose a path to create a brighter and more resilient future for women communities and countries. And between the cross-topic that was never mentioned till now was obviously health. So allow me to stress the fact that medical research has neglected women's health for too long. And this gap represents a huge missed opportunity that could be worth $1 trillion a year to the global economy. So new research has identified the highest impact areas for investment in women's health and innovation, and governments are increasing funding as for innovative global alliance in order to firm and to reshape how women's health solutions are developed and prioritized. So together with the G7 delegation, we are very thankful because of our participation, and we analyze how the women's health sector is transforming. And during our discussion, we emphasize the importance of mental health linked to economic stress and for the victims of violence, and the need to increase self-esteem technique is essential for tools for building self-confidence and resilience and protection to be safe. So all these techniques and strategies are particularly valuable in the risk labor environments typical of STEM careers like finance, fintech, cybersecurity, engineering. So we also emphasize the need for allyship and male sponsorship, as was mentioned by Mayor Gualtieri, to advance gender equity. And these supports are essential to breaking down barriers and creating more inclusive spaces when women can thrive. So finally, according to the EU study, with this Women7 experience, a powerful reminder is that we have achieved the existing path ahead, highlighting the progress and the work still needed to achieve accurate gender equity in the financial empowerment, violence prevention, and beyond. And so, waiting and looking at the final resolution that was just named from the Ministers' Council of the European Union on financial dependencies, this phenomenon is associated with various adverse outcomes, including the poorer physical and mental health, fewer education opportunities or paid employment, and entrepreneurial activities. In addition, the women's financial dependence on their partners may prevent them from leaving or ending violent relationships, and thus increasing the risk of experiencing partner violence and the spiral of violence that was really mentioned and described both in the Istanbul Convention that recently entered into force thanks for the European Union commitment, and the Convention 190 of the Women of the International Organization for Labor. So last month, the new EU rules aim to prevent rape and raise awareness on consent, while female genital mutilation and forced marriage will be included as crimes under the EU law. The new directive will prohibit forced marriage, female genital mutilation, and have a specific rule on cybercrimes such as cyberflashing, cyberstalking, and victims will have improved access to justice, to health care, including sexual and reproductive services. It seems clear to me that the only thing that separates one woman from another is the opportunity. And this is what we are saying with our statement, that we raise our voices for equal opportunity, for the freedom to make choices, for the freedom to see these opportunities in the reality of laws and language, and the willingness to embrace a cultural change of the rhetoric of violence and STEM stereotypes. We can be everything to each other, but no one can be responsible for our happiness and future. It's only up to us and our self-autodetermination, because there is a power in being your own advocate and in advocating for others. So we want to take the responsibility on our shoulders, and we are committed to defining it and learning how to achieve it. However, this will only be possible with our economic independence and full recognition that women's rights are human rights, and among those rights are the right to speak freely and the right to be heard. Thank you so much.
Grazie.